The streets of Victorian Britain's cities were a terrifying and violent place. Lowlifes and vicious gangs with names like the Garrotters and Scuttlers roamed, looking for easy pickings. The gentlemen and ladies of late Victorian London were increasingly fearful for their lives whenever they left the safety of their homes to take the air in the city streets. In the 1890s, one man countered this life of fear with a gentlemanly self-defense method which became Britain's only native martial art. Bartitsu converted the accoutrements of a gentleman, a walking stick, umbrella or an overcoat, into weapons, and it cast aside the Queensberry rules in favour of Far Eastern fight moves. First, parry attack. Counter with cross to left cheek. Weaken knee. Discombobulate. Second assailant, distract. Confused, he'll attempt wild haymaker. Fell with swipe. All in a day's work on the one show. In summary, physical recovery 8 weeks, psychological recovery 8 months. Opera career over. Bartitsu's inventor was a railway engineer, Victorian gentleman and self-defense enthusiast called Edward Barton Wright. Emelyne Godfrey is an historian who is expert on Victorian self-defense and an avid follower of Bartitsu. Bartitsu? What's it all about?
In the 1880s, Edward William Barton Wright went to Japan and learnt a little jiu-jitsu, and he came to London in the 1890s and he opened the Bartitsu Club.
Bartitsu is what today might be known as a mixed martial art.
It was English and exotic at the same time, for the connoisseur, for the gentleman, and it was a brand name, a must-have.
How a man may defend himself against every form of attack. It clearly has a very English take. Look at him here defending himself with his overcoat. It's all here, isn't it? How to overthrow an assailant when he seizes you by the waist belt. This is not New York gangland. This is London. He seems to have been able to defend himself against anybody except his barber. You could actually ride a bicycle with that moustache, couldn't you? Barton Wright opened the Bartitsu School of Arms and Physical Culture here in London's West End in 1901. This is where it all began. Was it popular?
It was a sensation, and even the Prince of Wales actually requested a private performance.
Bartitsu tapped into Victorian notions of physical fitness, gentlemanly conduct, and British greatness.
It was the first place to offer both Western and Eastern martial arts. This is where martial arts in the Western world really started, and in that sense it was 100 years ahead of its time.
I am feeling the vibe. Barton Wright's club eventually closed. It's now a hotel, and the art of Bartitsu itself might have been lost to time, were it not for one rather famous devotee. Moriarty rushed at me and threw his long arms around me. We tottered together upon the brink of the fall. I have some knowledge, however, of Bartitsu. I slipped through his grip, and he, with a horrible scream, kicked madly for a few seconds, and over he went. Arthur Conan Doyle may have spelt it incorrectly, but Bartitsu was clearly of great use to Sherlock Holmes himself. Braun is from the Bartitsu Society, a modern, worldwide club that aims to continue Barton Wright's experiments in mixed martial arts. Braun now uses his skills to choreograph fight scenes for film and theatres like the Royal Opera House. He thinks he knows why Sherlock Holmes was such a devotee.
In a way, you can see Bartitsu as a chess game. You have to outsmart your opponent. You have to think 5 moves ahead. And as such, basically, you're a puppeteer, and your opponent is insignificant because you're basically playing him along. Bartitsu is practiced nowadays all over the world. It mixes all your different martial skills, and it allows you to improvise while your opponent is surprising you with an attack you didn't expect.
Britain has many things to be proud of, but until today, I didn't realize that martial arts was one of them. Still, it's good to know that if I'm ever confronted by a garrotter or a scuttler, I can fend them off with techniques used by Sherlock Holmes. Ha, ha, ha!